But yeah, I'm not
Hey,
like lagging or anything.
you said what?
I'm not like lagging out or anything.
No, not right now.
All right, cool.
All
Right now.
right. What kind of glitched a little earlier, but we good.
Oh, hope we don't do that again.
Oof. Hey guys, welcome back to the We Scholars Podcast. It's your girl P, and today I got the one and only Artemis in the building. Hey, how you doing?
So,
So what you got going on today?
um, nothing actually. I'm just gonna live a normal day. I'm gonna go hang
Okay,
out with my daughter.
okay,
That's
cool.
pretty much it. Yeah.
So let's get into it. Tell everybody who you are. What is your title exactly?
So, my name is Artemis, but I go by the Artemis XXX. Um, I'm like I'd say I'm a fast rising male talent, right? That's what I always say because I am pretty rising fast.
Yeah.
Um, I started my own company, so I guess I'm a producer.
Divine Pipeline?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
cool. I was gonna ask you about that, but let's
Oh,
talk about it since you brought it up.
oh, because I'm bored. Um, yeah, my whole mission statement with Divine Pipeline is basically I wanted to start a company for the little guy because we always get those inboxes where it's like, yo, I want to do porn or I want to do this, I want to do that. And a lot of the times we write them off. We just be like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, all right. But I kind of wanted my company not only to have that mainstream look, but also give the little guys a chance, because it's like, if you serious, I'm gonna give you a specific set of guidelines to follow, right? And all
Mhm.
you have to do is do those and you should be good. If you can't, then obviously you're not meant for this. Like I'll usually tell them like, yo, just go get tested, right? At least 7 days before a shoot that I give you. And 9 times out of 10, they don't even do that part. And I just be
Oh,
like, yes, I can't help you.
okay. So you just dropped a lot of good things that has been a topic of discussion for a few weeks now with different people I've talked to, and it's the new male talent. And I like to give them the benefit of the doubt because some people just don't know. They have absolutely no idea what it takes to be in this industry and the work that you have to put in and everything. So you can't blame someone for just not knowing. So how do you distinguish the people that one are gonna take it serious? Like how do you pick somebody and be like, okay, yeah, they just don't know, but like I could work with them and give them a chance. And
Well,
then how do you convince them to understand how important talent testing is versus not having a test at all or just going down to the local clinic? How do you tell them this?
so I usually tell them off rip, like the first things first is you're new, no one want to work with you because you don't have any substance to at least try to move forward. So I always tell them like, yo, if you have a Twitter or whatever you're using, first things first, go on Twitter, clean up your page, make it at least look decent. If you're a guy and you don't have any videos, start with some solo videos. But the point is to at least look like you're trying and you're trying to build content. My next step usually is because I tell them like Twitter's your promo. That's where you're gonna promote yourself the most.
Mhm.
Then I tell them this like this day and age, the easiest route to kind of break in is to start an OnlyFans. So I tell them start an OnlyFans page, right? And a mini vids. I tell them start only page, OnlyFans, and a mini vids. Tell them start an OnlyFans, get verified on it, then start a mini vids, get verified on that. That's the first step, right?
Mhm.
That's the first step to seeing if somebody's really serious. Why? Because
Yeah.
once you fans and once you get on mini vids, you realize you just those two sites alone, you realize the severity of what you're going into. Because as soon as you try to go to monetize yourself, they slap you with the well, we need you to sign this W2 we need you to give us your ID, your address. You feel me? They ask you for all of that up front. So now it's like, this is the first make or break situation, because a lot of people, because I've learned this the hard way, but a lot of people, they don't want to give up their identification. They don't want to give up their IDs. They be like, oh, I don't need to do that. What you need my ID for? Because that's what we do. This is our job. It's legal documentation that we have to go through. You go to a regular job and they ask you for, we supposed to ask you for 2 forms of ID, but at a regular job, they ask you for 2 forms of ID. They don't care if it's a passport or your driver's license, as long as it's one of those, and it has to be your social security card, right? We're supposed to be asking for your social security numbers because we're supposed to give out each other 1099 forms when we make a certain amount of money, but we don't do that. We just do trades, so we don't pay each other. And because we don't pay each other, we don't have to do that part. We have to exchange social security numbers. But if I paid you, I'm gonna need your social security number because I have to write that off. But the point being is that right there, the exchanging of IDs, that part automatically scares people off. Automatically. Yeah. And then after that, if they get through that, then it's like, all right, cool. Now I need you to go get tested. At least 7 days before I sign you to a shoot, right? Yeah. And I understand that you're new and you don't have talent testing yet, and you probably don't have the money to pay for talent testing, right? Because you can make an account and you could be set up, but you might not have the money to pay for talent testing. I tell them, you could go, because in New York, it's easy for us, right? We have something called City MD, which is basically an urgent care, right? And they're like, damn city. What I like about going to City MD is you can get every single test that's on talent testing plus more, and they give you a login for a patient portal. So you can log in just like talent testing and get to your documents digitally, just like talent testing. So that's what I like. So I tell them, like, the closest thing you can get to talent testing is, because everybody's usually in here in New York, I say, go to City MD. It's free because they take your insurance, you know, and you get your results. But unlike talent testing, you know, we get our results back day of, or we get them the next day. But obviously City MD, I tell you 7 days before we shoot, because for the normal person, it takes, I think, 3 to 5 business days for you to get your results back. Usually you'll get back the first 2 tests, like your hepatitis and whatever, the next day. But chlamydia will probably come the second day after that. And then syphilis is usually the one that comes the latest, and that's usually 5 days. But if you're good and you haven't had a history of it, they don't have to process you that long. So it'll probably come back in the 3 days like everybody else. But in some cases, yeah, it'll take 5 days. Okay. So I tell days, you got 7 days. 7 days, you know, don't do nothing on that test until it's your shoot, you know? And it's just a matter of them being serious and doing it. And if they can't do that, because with me, it's 2 strikes. It's never 3. I never give a 3rd chance, because it's like,
yeah, come on now. Yeah.
If the second strike is, yo, if you can't go get tested, then there's no reason for you to be in this industry at all. I don't, because you're not jeopardizing yourself, you're jeopardizing the entire community. Yeah. You think, because I work with you, then she worked with him, he worked with 3 other people, then those people, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because of one person's foul up or one person not being professional. So I'm like, if you can't do that, because that's the biggest. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. You're 100% right about that. And I'm glad you said it, because I think you said it out of all the guys that I've had, you said it the best and clarified it for the men out there. Like, I think they're going to take this and like understand, like, okay, yeah. Because I can preach about it and I hear other people preach about it, but you worded that very well.
Thank you.
So thank you for saying that. because that's something that they need to understand. I feel like it's harder for the guys trying to come in this industry than it is girls because they get so much slack. So they have to like really, like you said, you got to see that they want to take it serious, that they're gonna do this, and then you once you get past all that, then you can start preaching to them about how they need to act on set and how they should
Yeah,
behave and how they need
yeah,
to actually market and promote and tag and share and go down the little hole, this spiral we
yeah.
get into of having to do all of these things that people
That's
don't
fact
see it.
at all.
Hmm. So okay, well, let's get back on you. So that's your whole company. How long has Artemis been around in the industry?
How long has I been around? Has Oz been around? Um, uh, well, let me see. I technically started. I'm not even gonna say like, all right, damn, all right. I technically started when I was 19 years old.
Okay.
Technically, when I technically started. This is before everything happened. Like everything. This is before the monetization of porn on the internet. The only place I think when I was 19 that was giving you money for doing porn on the internet as an amateur was this place called rude.com, right?
Mm.
And I don't know if it's still around. It's probably still around. But the point is, that was like the only place at the time, right?
Okay, you don't seem that old. How old are you?
I'm she on camera I'm 24, 24, 25.
Oh, okay.
Nah, but my legal age is 33.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Yeah,
so we were on the same age. I'll be 33 in December.
yeah, see, you know, tell everybody else I'm 20, 24, 25.
Okay.
But I damn. Yeah, Rue.com, it was when I was 19, and there was all these other, there was other sites. There was Pornhub, there was
Mhm.
XTube, there was X Hamster, there was Adult Space. Adult Space was like MySpace in Facebook, but for
Okay.
sex. Like, and it was free because Adult Friend Finder at that point in time, you had to pay for it too. And me being 19, anything I had to pay for, I did not want to deal with because I'm 19. I didn't have a job yet. I just got out.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, I don't got that. But yeah, I started on X Hamster. So I was on X Hamster and I was just doing like little videos here and there with like random girls that I used to like date and sleep around with.
Um,
I was a reckless 19-year-old. But the point is, yeah, I was doing that and I was putting them up on X Hamster, but they were getting views, like views, but I wasn't making money off of it. So I was like reaching out to like, I didn't know any amateur companies. I didn't know any mainstream companies. I hit up West Coast Productions when they were like still established as a company, because now they're like disappeared, but they was like the leading Black company back then. But I hit them up. I hit up this place called Roughneck Magazine that was run by a dude named Huey. I hit up so many places to try and like get put on, and no callback stuff like that. So I ended up giving up like after my first year. So I was like 19, yeah, it's over. I'm gonna just go back to what my original passion was. So I went to school. I went to school for art, and I was teaching dance classes on the side because art and dance is my main passions. I mean, porn is one of my main passions now too, because it's art. It's my artistic. Look at my work, you see like how artistically I like to express
yeah.
myself. But
Now I
yeah,
did like the scene out in the snow.
oh, well, we'll get to that
Okay, yeah,
because
we're
that.
gonna get to some of them. Okay.
But yeah, I gave up, and for years I went on and whatever, just not doing it. But then I started back up, right? Technically in 2019, the summer of 2019, right? This is before COVID was even thought of yet, and I had 5 jobs, all teaching dance classes in different studios, right? And then
Oh,
my life
okay.
spiraled downwards really fast for that summer because one studio got shut down because they lost funding. The other one I quit because my boss was a tyrant. The other one, they said I was terminated for inappropriate behavior because me and my coworker exchanged phone numbers. And and then the last job I still had, but it only happened it only happens during the school year. So I had to wait until not September, the end of September to start back up. So for the whole summer I had no money, no nothing. And I had a sports car, so I had to pay my insurance on that, and I had no job. And I was in a very bad situation. So me and my girlfriend at the time, she was like, well, didn't you used to do like porn when you were 19 or whatever? And isn't that stuff still like making money or whatever? And I'm just like, honestly, no, it didn't make money because I couldn't get monetized back then. And instead, what happened was I went to go look at it, signed into my old X Hamster account, looked at the views that I had, and I was like, damn. And then I found out that X Hamster was now monetizing videos. And I
Okay.
was, oh shit. But in order for the videos to get I think it's back ad revenue, basically like for all the years that it didn't make money, to get the money that it's supposed to make, you have to give the IDs and stuff. But I wasn't in contact with any of those people anymore. So I couldn't.
Mhm.
So it was like, well, she was like, well, let's do it together. And I was like, okay. So we
Okay.
started together. We did a little video, we did clips here, and we streamed on Chatterbait. So the real come up when I say I really got serious and really started making money was in 2019 when I started to do Chatterbait.
Okay.
Then 3 months later we broke up, and she told me to take everything down, and then I was back to square one. So now I only have one video on Pornhub, and it's just me masturbating in the shower in an Airbnb in New Jersey. But the good thing about that scene is because I'm like a stickler for quality.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what I put out back then, even though it was amateur, it looked better than a lot of other amateur people stuff because I always had like full HD, full 4K quality, amazing lighting. And that was before I even bought any equipment. That was literally just my Samsung Galaxy S3 at the time. And that video is still on my Pornhub, and it still racks up views, and it still looks amazing for an old ass phone, you know? And from there, I was just like, all right, let me just keep making solo videos. So I kept
Okay.
making solo videos, kept making solo videos. Then COVID struck. I ended up getting another job, but then I lost that job because COVID struck. And then I had no jobs. So I was just back to doing the porn thing. And what I ended up doing after that was kept putting out solos. Then I made an OnlyFans. After I made an OnlyFans, I made a mini vids. I made an OnlyFans and mini vids. I kept using my Pornhub, but only putting out solos. And then I got reached out by a well-known BBW porn star, Pink Candy.
Okay.
She was the first person to reach out to me. She said, hey, I see your new talent and whatnot, and I would like to work with you. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. And I shot with her, and she basically like gave me my first critique on my work, like
Okay.
while I was, and she was just like, yeah, in the beginning, like while you were in the scene, you were going soft, but you didn't let it stop you. You kept getting it hard again, even like before the camera can notice that I went soft. She was like, you
Mm-hmm.
did that's something that'll take you far. And I was just like, really? All right, dope. And then like a week later, she put the scene out, and then my Twitter followers just started shooting up. And then I started getting in like retweet groups and whatever, and like networking. And once I got there, and I had that one shoot under my belt with Pink Candy, I got reached out to by an amateur company, and it was Rick Nasty, Nasty Media Group, and he was like, "Yo, you want to audition?" And I was just like, "Yeah," and I auditioned, and he said I
Mm-hmm.
did a great job, and he kept booking me and booking me. So technically 2000 and 2020, that's when I really 2020 around April. 2020 April, that's when I really got into the industry and I really started making a name for myself. So
Okay.
I would say I've been in the industry for 20, 21, 22. So about 2 years. 2 years
Okay.
now. So yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. So you're growing really quickly. And then this year you were nominated for one of the XBiz Awards. Was this your first nomination?
yeah, first. A lot of
Okay.
people kept saying, like, yo, it took them like 6 years, 16 years just to get nominated. And I got nominated in my first 2 years. And I didn't get nominated for like being like best newcomer or something. I got like best male clip artist. I'm just like, what the hell? How did I get here? I didn't even, okay, just skip the level. Cool. I
Yeah.
was so,
That's so exciting. Keep grinding, keep it going, because it's only up from here. Okay, so what's been your favorite scene you've shot so far?
my favorite scene I've shot so far. Hmm. That's it's an easy no-brainer because I say it all the fucking time. Like
Mhm.
all the time. But it's a Gonzo scene and it was with me and Quincy Rowe. No, Rowe Quincy. Oh no, Quincy Rowe. And that scene was just fantastic. Like everything about it, like the synergy, the everything was fire about it. And I bust twice, like back to back in that scene for the very first time. So I was just like, the hell? It was one of my favorite scenes. One of my favorite scenes. If I had my favorite concept scenes that involved me like acting or whatever,
Mhm.
it would have been that I recently that I've my Big Bad Wolf scene with Davina Reigns. That was one of my favorite. That was my favorite acting scene.
Okay. Yeah. We got to go check that out. So where can we find those at? On your mini vids?
Yeah, you can find that on my mini. You can find it on my mini vids. I'm not sure if it's still available uh on my wall for OnlyFans. I think it's like purchasable through Inbox now, but it's definitely purchasable via my mini vids.
Okay.
And yeah, all my stuff is like right here.
Okay, yeah,
Just
so go check them out. So on your mini vids, we see that you Mr. Top 50. So how would you say you grow your page to get up there, like in this industry?
I think it was because I changed my format. I changed my format before because it was I just made everything more sleek and
Mhm.
more mm, transparent. Because before it was like very colorful text on top of the photos, so you really didn't know what was going. Like you knew what was going on because it was like one still screenshot, but then
Mhm.
colorful text. I changed it. I changed very clear to messy thumbnails and a very pristine font. So I guess it made people think that like the quality is completely different now. And the work that I put out. And then obviously, I'm very supportive of other people. So I'm always like resharing people's mini vids on my mini vids and stuff like that, liking people's stuff, trying to engage and comment. Yo, it's so interesting because on mini vids, people will like and they will re-MV your stuff, but they'll never comment on your stuff. And it's like people don't comment on mini vids because it's like the equivalent of Twitter, but nobody comments on anything.
Okay,
So
so I have this whole other channel that I give game on. And so I was talking about mini vids, and I think people underestimate all the features that mini vids has to offer, because if we all utilize those features, like the re-MV, I like to go around and tell some of my friends, hey, go re-MV, I'll share some of yours too. Um,
yeah,
and do that. But like you said, we just re-MV, but don't actually comment or don't.
Right?
And I feel like if we did that and just posted more, even in the free fan club, which is almost like a Facebook wall, you can just get up
Yes.
there and post a picture or whatever. But if we all did that and all was sharing each other's stuff, man, we could
We
really get this
make
money.
like I tell people all the time, like, yo, mini vids is a really good tool. That's why I tell people, like, yo, get a mini vids. Get a mini vids. If you want to do OnlyFans, you can do OnlyFans, but get a mini vids. Definitely get one, because a mini vids is like a mini vids. I think a lot of people's problem with mini vids is because they feel like it takes too much. I think they take like 30%. But if you, I don't care. If I'm making enough money, that 30% doesn't really, because we see what we make after the 30%, right? Because they show us in our earnings what we make after the 30%. They don't show us what
Yeah,
we make before. But a lot of people keep going like, yo, but if you would see what you was making before that, you would be like, man, that 30% is too much. But you gotta think about it like, yo, because I hear it all the time, make your own website, do your own website. Well, okay, if I make my own website, I gotta do a CC billing, I gotta do something like that. I have to find a host site that's gonna allow me to stream porn and sell porn on my whole site, because like all the good sites that make web profiles are like restricting when it comes to porn. So you have to get your own server, and 9 times out of 10, all that money that you just put into making your own website, you could like mini vids, and that 30% is basically the same thing. Because
yeah,
because now that you made your website, you got to keep paying that 30 or whatever it is. But mini vids takes the 30% every time.
yeah,
Like, come on. It's the same thing basically. Even Model Central. Shit, Model Central lets you make your own website, even though it's like very cut and dry and basic. But the point is, you make your own website. Mini vids, obviously, you stick to their layout, but at least Model Central, you can make it look like it's your own.
yeah,
At the same time, it's like Model Central takes like 40-50%. I'd rather
yeah,
the 30%, but the
yeah.
hell?
Or if you have the time, get on all the platforms.
Exactly. Just get
Get
all
on
of
as
them.
much as possible. And that's
Yeah.
one thing I've thought about before. I just never really put the time into do it. But instead of just having all my stuff on mini vids, I decided, hey, I got a bunch of fetish stuff. I can put all my fetish stuff on clips for sale. And then you still got I Want clips, and you got X Hamster. You got all these places. Put your content up, because you could be making sales. What I notice is some customers, they like their specific platform. So
Yes.
those customers are going to only buy videos on that platform. So if your videos aren't on that platform, you're missing out on money.
Because of that platform.
Hmm.
Yes. Like right now, I stick to 4 platforms, because those platforms are what pay my bills and pay my travels and everything. I stick to 4 platforms, but I'm about to start using other platforms as well. Obviously, it is going to be a grind now, because I have to start over on those other platforms. But I lost a hard drive, so like a hard drive crashed on me, so it's hard for me to even get back the old scenes that I did edit,
Hmm.
just for me to even like just throw them up easily, so I wouldn't have to worry about anything. But yeah, man, it's frustrating,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna expand onto other ones. Like I'm about to start doing clips for sale again, because when I first started clips for sale, I was looking at the format and I'm just like, yo, this is very outdated and confusing. But somebody recently at XBiz had inboxed me and was just like, hey, we think you should do a clips for sale account, because they're like a top clips for sale artist or whatever.
Hmm.
And it was just like, I'm just trying to like promote clips for sale more, and I think you should make one. I was like, I actually have one. I just don't use it. And she was like, why? And I was just like, because the format is just very confusing. And she's like, well, we're actually about to do an overhaul and redo the format on it. And I was just like, oh, really? So if you want to look at that for the summer, that Clips for Sale is going to change their look.
Okay, I
So
want to put a pause right here because it's about to cancel me. I'm gonna have to start this over. Not the interview, but we're gonna have to do a part 2.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let me just start it over. I'm gonna send you another link real quick.
Okay.
Okay, or just hold on.